Hello, everyone. Thanks again for hopping on. We apologize for that audio defect earlier, but today we're talking about cryptocurrency, right? It's getting more and more popular as days go on, as people are switching to this digital currency, becoming more valuable as well, learning how to trade it, how to buy it, how to sell it, finding out what it is. So I've brought in an expert for us today, Jacob Alinsky, who is an author and knows crypto really well. Jacob, why don't you just tell us about yourself and how you got involved with crypto?
Hello, Jesse, and everyone out there. I got into crypto in the 90s. I started following it when I was in college and seeing how these college, other college folks were starting to write this program out with, it was actually before Bitcoin actually came out as this experimental money that could be used for trading. So they were actually using it to trade between themselves to like a barter system, but it was only between certain people. So I followed it for a little while after college and whatnot, still following it, still doing investments. But as I grew into adulthood and into trading myself, into trading, I started actually writing books. And I actually have a pen named Magnus Carter, which is on the book that you're actually talking about, Jesse. And that book is called Decrypting Cryptocurrency, Writing the Data Path to Financial Freedom. And I've been following it avidly throughout its stages. There's a lot of things going on with it, and a lot of uncertainties right now. And there's lots of questions from everybody about what it is and how it actually works.
Right, right. I'm sure with such all these new digital things, all of this stuff is very new for a lot of people. So first of all, Jacob, right? What is cryptocurrency? What is a Bitcoin? You can't touch it. Where does it exist?
It's a, to put it extremely in a way, in a finite way, is it's actually a programmed language. It's a program. What Bitcoin is that actually a program that is actually lives out in cyberspace somewhere. It's something you can't actually touch, but you can actually see it because it's actually a programmed um, value. It's a value out in the middle of out, cyberspace that is associated with something.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the how can I put it would be the value of it is how people value it itself. Way back when it was first made, nobody knew about it, and it was actually worth maybe hundreds of a cent for one. Now it's actually worth, since everybody's starting to acknowledge it and want it, and there's only a certain amount of it, it's worth 50,000 for one. So it the value is in the eye of the beholder on this, and it's over all of the bitcoins out there or all of the cryptocurrencies, because there's actually more than what you actually think, Jesse. There's over 10,000 different types of cryptocurrencies out there, and it's constantly growing.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure, right? Just as we have all these dollars and different kinds of dollars too, it's like the same thing, right? Well, not exactly the same thing. But so tell me a bit about your book. So, trading with crypto, getting into it, right? So, this is for our beginners. How do you even start to think about getting into cryptocurrency?
Well, getting into cryptocurrency is just like anything else that you want to do. You have to do research on it. You have to actually figure out what the lingo is, how it actually could benefit me, the risks, the gains of it. But to actually look at it, you have to get into a marketplace. A marketplace is actually like a store, if you will, that you can buy certain cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Dogecoin, uh, Shibu. They're all have their own space out in the world right now, but you actually have to go to them wherever it's being sold to buy it. It's like a brokerage. Uh, it's if we relate it to day-to-day trading and investing, we can actually compare it and contrast it with buying stocks and exchanging them through a broker. But instead of
Okay.
a physical form and actually being able to touch it and actually see it and actually cash out of it, that'll actually transform into real money that we have today, it actually um, converts into digitalized. And when it's digitalized like that, it still lives out in cyberspace, and you can't actually feel it, and it's hard to actually convert it from a digital currency that it is, whatever one it is. It has to actually convert into day-to-day money, like the dollar bill or the yen or
Right.
whatever the backed money where you live is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. So, speaking of that, Jacob, why don't you just tell me what the most common forms are right now?
The most common ones right now are Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, and the the funniest one of them all, which is the most joke, is actually Dogecoin, because it was actually made. The reason why it's so funny is people made it as a joke, and it actually started taking off, and it's actually making some sort of headway and making money on
Right,
it as
right.
a joke, because nobody really thought about it. So those are mainly the ones out there right now, and Ethereum is definitely on there, but they're constantly changing. The top 10 will change within an hour from each other, more or less, not even a day. But this environment is so fragile and so volatile.
Mm-hmm.
It changes on the minute, it changes on a tweet, it can change on a commercial. It's very malleable at the moment. So for me to say right now what it is, and 10 minutes from now it's going to change.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Yeah, I hear people talk about that all the time about how it's down or up. So, how would you compare cryptocurrency to stocks?
You would actually have to to convert it into stocks. You would actually have to take your money that you actually have into the cryptocurrency, and you have to exchange it out. You have to be willing to find someone that'll actually buy it and give you a fair amount for whatever it is right now trading at. And you have to make the transaction through your blockchains and your wallets, and you have to actually get it into your possession, record it for tax purposes, and then you're once it's in a form of money, you can actually take that money and put it into the stock exchange.
Okay, I think you answered an extra question that was really great. But yeah, no, that's really cool. But what I was wondering too was, how would you compare it? Right, they go up and down in their value. Is there some sort of comparison to stocks with crypto that they kind of do the same thing with that value?
They do add value, and they can also lose value very quickly. So compared to stocks that's actually backed by an exchange and backed by government officials and regulations, there's no regulations, right, or very minimal regulations in the crypto world. So there's so much that could change on a hat of a second that it doesn't have to constantly perform the way it is. A stock exchange, the stocks and whatnot, they have to perform the way they are because there's guidelines for it, because it's federally regulated. There's very minimum or little federal regulations in cryptocurrency in the world at the moment.
Hmm. Does that worry you about crypto?
Absolutely, because it can be here just like anything else in the world. It can be here today, and 5 minutes from now, it can be all gone.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's no
definitely.
insurance on it to actually get your money back, or there's a lot more security issues with this because there are no regulations.
Hmm. Sure. So getting into it, you've mentioned third-party apps, right? So a lot of people have heard of Robinhood, Acorns, or even Venmo is doing it. So people are definitely being presented with the option to get some instantly. What would you say to those people who are considering pulling the trigger and trying to get some crypto in their digital wallets? What's some best advice that you would advise people getting into that?
The My best advice for getting into crypto, you can actually go to I seen at the grocery store a broker right there that you can actually buy some sort of cryptocurrency. So they're trying to get it out there very fast. It's everywhere, but take your time with it. Do your research. Find out what the performance is, how long it's been created, how many people are actually have it. They also have max caps of how much per um, per crypto, per type of coin currency out there that they've actually created. So if you see maybe Shinibu that has a cap of maybe five billion compared to Bitcoin that's only at 2 billion. I'm just throwing out their their theoretical numbers and
Yeah.
also whole numbers here, just so you can see a comparison.
Mm-hmm.
The Everything changes daily, so these my figures may be wrong for right now, and they'll be wrong definitely tomorrow.
Right. Always
So
changing, right?
once so constantly changing, but be very wary about it. There's tons of scams out there. One actually two actually tried to get me yesterday on scamming to invest in cryptocurrency.
And what did they say? How did you know it was fake?
Well, one they were trying to some of the key features actually features and signs to look for. One being when they're trying to scam you is if they give you a website and the website doesn't come up. Absolutely right there, it doesn't work. No matter where in the country or where in the world it is, some sort of website would pop up. And their competitive answer to that is, well, you need a VPN for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a VPN, so I log into the country where that website is actually sitting, and I tried to pull it up again. I'm like, it's still not coming up. I'm getting error messages, page cannot be displayed. Or if you have a great firewall or antivirus program, it will say this page has been blocked for security reasons, possible scam and fraud alert. Take those warnings into consideration very heavily, because a 90% chance those are scams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good information to look out for. Thank you, Jacob. So, moving forward into some final thoughts, final advice here, and we'll definitely get to the book as well, because that's some great information too. But firstly, just sort of just some concluding thoughts. Best, or excuse me, worst mistakes people can make getting into it. What is the absolute do not do this getting into crypto this year?
If you decide to get into cryptocurrency, put very little money into cryptocurrency. It is that volatile, and if there it can make money very fast and it can also lose money very fast. It is a great tool to diversify if you already have money invested, but do not keep cryptocurrency as your sole investment, because if you it's more or less like the horse racing. I love the horse racing analogy. You bet on one horse to win, which is your cryptocurrency, but if you bet a trifecta, you have three chances of winning and less chance of a loss, a higher chance of at least getting some of your money back.
Yeah, definitely something you want to be safe about for sure. So, also, what do you think about cryptocurrency in the future? Do you think that someday that it could replace physical money?
There is quite potential for that to happen, because there are countries right now that are working on backing cryptocurrency. There's a couple countries in Africa that have government backing on cryptocurrency that will actually that are that will put regulations in and will actually make that their country's form of money. China has been working on it. I know that's a hot topic right now, but it is true. They are working on making
Mm,
that into its standard currency.
yeah,
If you actually take a look at the timeline, Jesse, of this, even the 80s to now, we'll go back to like 1984, 85,
sure.
when banking started using CDs and doing wire transfers and allowing people to actually start direct depositing and working on from paychecks. It's actually the next natural path to follow.
Sure. And Jacob, we do have a question here. And thank you, Rebecca, for asking a question. As always, great thing about Facebook, guys, you can feel free to comment, ask questions, right? We're looking, we see this. So Rebecca says, could you please explain the differences between tokens, coins, NFT, and the process to convert altcoins?
All four of them are different types of programming for coins. Certain marketplaces will use each one of them. So when you invest in those, you actually have to go to the marketplace and and have like your coins and then your tokens and then your NFTs. Each one of those subcategories, it has its own programming. So with the programming, with the marketplace, they have different types of blockchains. The blockchains is where the data is actually stored. So, and with the storage of the data is also your transactions. So each block has a different amount of transactions that it can hold before it adds another block to the chain. And you gather a chain by having multiple blocks strung together. So once you have multiple blocks and chains, everything can be saved in your wallet. But your wallet must actually be able to conform to the types of cryptocurrency that you are investing in.
Definitely some good information there. Thank you for being able to answer that as well. So we've got one more question from Rebecca here. Do you think crypto will be do you think crypto will be important in the future of the metaverse?
I'm sorry, what was that, Jesse?
Thinking about metaverses now, so as Facebook and these other companies grow and there's more digital spaces for people to be in, do you think these cryptocurrencies may be as easy as adding a credit card? May they be as important as current cash is on the internet now in those spaces?
It will be, because that's an extra asset for the companies to actually have and actually gather money into to invest. So companies are constantly trying to find other ways to invest money to make more money so they can make more money and better products so they can also expand. I definitely see that in the future. We can actually see some that are actually spearheading that right now, like Tesla, uh, Virgin Records, Nvidia is definitely one of them, and actually Amazon started doing it as well. So people are actually starting. The companies are actually starting to come around to test this and conform with this and start tinkering to make it actually so it actually becomes a reality.
Yeah, I definitely think you could probably see that happening sooner than we believe. So, last thing here, Jacob, tell me about your book and where we can find it. I mean, I know I've already got it pulled up, but tell us all about it, right?
Okay, my book, Decrypting Cryptocurrency: Writing the Data Path to Financial Freedom, is actually a book that will take anybody with little to no knowledge about cryptocurrency and explain the technology, the history of it, the choices that one person can make with cryptocurrency to actually expand their portfolios to make a better tomorrow for themselves. It also tells about some of the items to look for security reasons. And on top of the security reasons, we can't forget about the government. The government loves forms and taxes, and anything that makes money they would like to have an accountability for. It also tells about how cryptocurrency is actually being taxed right now in the United States, which is surprisingly not as an increase, but as a property that somebody owns.
Mm-hmm.
And after talking with my accountant this year, it is actually on the forms and is being asked by accountants and tax preparers if you actually own it. If you own it, you must actually show proof that you own it and the transactions you have, gains and losses. And
Yeah.
the book also comes out with an exit strategy to get the person ready to the next move if they want to take it out or diversify it or add into different types of currency.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds really great. Jacob, thank you so much for your time today, breaking some of this down, decrypting the crypto for us, right? Because it is such a different thing. So I appreciate it so much, and thank you again for your time, and have a great night.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, everyone.
Everybody have a good one. Take care.